Yo people, welcome back to DR Sports and welcome back to DR Sports Transfers. Your host to do the most and never coast Matisse in this building. Now listen, we got a lot to get through today. We've been following this Mudryk story all along and it's kind of going on and on and on. And obviously Mudryk is just desperate to join Arsenal. That's clear. He's wearing capes. He's flying around his room. He's, liking posts. He's, watching them on stories and complimenting the manager. He's doing everything he can to show Arsenal fans that he wants to join the club. But it's not that straightforward, is it? Because we can see there's interest from Chelsea. Let's see how strong that interest is, really, to be honest. Myself, personally, I'm looking to see if an official bid goes in. Apparently, reportedly, there was a meeting between Shakhtar Donetsk and Chelsea at the Manchester City game as well. Their director was at the stadium. He was meeting up with Willian as well, who's obviously playing at Fulham and is in London. So it's interesting to see how this develops. But we know that Mudryk wants to join Arsenal. But that complication of Chelsea having some injuries against Manchester City, Pulisic and Sterling going off injured in that first half, maybe that will push Chelsea to actually firm up this interest and make it more public and go with a real bid. But we'll have to see, because like I said, I feel like that's a lot of money to pay for a player of this quality. Yes, he's very talented, but he is playing in the Ukrainian league. It is a little bit of a gamble. Will he step up to the Premier League? Will he acclimatise quickly? But we're seeing a lot of players at the moment who are being bought for this €100 million kind of price tag for potential. Whether or not they've actually shown they're ready to play at the top level in terms of consistently. We saw it with Anthony. We've seen Nunes coming to Liverpool for around 80 million as well. Show that he's still rough around the edges. There's still something to build upon. The foundations are there, but there's still some levels to go. 100 million is not getting what you used to. Used to be 100 million would get you a player that is literally the finished article, is undisputedly world class, is at the top of their game, is in their prime. Now you're paying 100 million as just... You're just throwing it for potential. You're throwing it for a little bit of a gamble to get in amongst it and hopefully have, someone that can deliver in 2-3 years' time. It is mad the way football's going. There's a quote from Fabrizio on Mudryk. He says, "The situation remains the same. Arsenal's bid wasn't enough to convince Shakhtar. Whilst Chelsea are now interested, we now have to wait and see the next steps. It's important to remember that Mudryk's priority is still to join Arsenal." Strange for me as well that Chelsea are pursuing or reportedly pursuing a player that wants to join Arsenal so clearly and heavily. Would Mudryk accept a Chelsea offer? I'm sure he would if that was the only offer on the table. But as a Chelsea fan, it doesn't really sit too well with me that he desperately wants to join Arsenal like this. It's not like as if he's playing his cards close to his chest and trying to force a move just to the Premier League in general. And then he has a preference. We saw last summer there was a lot of preferences. Say Rafinha, for instance, interested by Chelsea and Arsenal, again, the same clubs, but his preference was Barcelona. But he wasn't on his stories, he wasn't making it flat out so heavily clear that he wanted to go to Barca. We just kind of knew it was a preference. Mudryk is literally an Arsenal fan at the moment. He's literally cheering the team on. So it's difficult to kind of process as a Chelsea fan that we're so heavily interested in a player that is so clearly wanting to join Arsenal. But we'll have to see if Chelsea go official, just how this goes. I think my prediction would be if Chelsea were to make that bid and to try and, again, throw money at the situation, that Mudryk would probably leave them hanging for a while, couple days here, couple days there, to see if Arsenal match that bid. And that's where Chelsea, once again, same with Rafinha, could be caught out in terms of trying to hijack a move where a player has a preference to go elsewhere. He liked another post on Instagram last night with him in an Arsenal cape, as I mentioned. How important are the players' wishes in a situation like this? I think the players' wishes are quite important, but it obviously does depend on the club and whether they have the money to actually, match a bid if it was to come in. But we've seen before, that deals can be done, structures can be put together for players, as we saw with Rafinha. Maybe a lesser bid can be taken. I do believe, though, that Shakhtar don't need to sell. He is still young. He still has a lot of years left on his contract. They have said that they don't need to sell. That's why they've put the asking price at above what, Anthony was paid for from Manchester United. They feel like he's a better potential. They've come out and said that. So, you got to believe them. You got to believe their word. Take them for what they're saying, and we'll see if they stick to it in the January window, and we'll see if Arsenal do really go for him. When Arteta really wants someone at this point with the recruitment, is it really worth going against him and not backing him when you've seen the players that they brought in and how well they've worked out, especially when you've got that chemistry between him and Zinchenko potentially down that left-hand side? Is it worth overpaying? Let me know in the comments down below. We'll go to João Félix next. a player that we all know is looking to make a move away from Atletico Madrid. He's not having the best time under Diego Simeone. There is a fractured relationship there, most likely, although it was kind of denied, as it would be by Simeone last week. And it says from David Orenstein again, he says, Arsenal are interested in João Félix on a loan deal if the numbers come down significantly from where they are at the minute. That's why a deal is not happening. Perhaps they'll try and get one in the first and maybe that will take the pressure off them in the Mudryk pursuit. I think with João Félix at the moment, Atletico Madrid have kind of put themselves in a tough position because they have the player there that they know he doesn't want to be there. He's tried, he's been at Atletico Madrid for long enough in that system, not thriving, not really playing to his potential, but they are asking for a lot because, of course, they paid a lot. They paid, a record fee for themselves, one of the biggest transfer fees in football, over 100 million it was at the time from Benfica, and it hasn't worked out, and they're trying to recoup as much of that as possible. And obviously that firstly comes with a big loan fee, and then maybe it comes with an obligation to buy at the end of that. Now, what clubs would prefer is interesting. Does a club like Arsenal or Manchester United prefer, and obviously Manchester United at the moment, I've not maybe got the funds to go for this, but do these clubs prefer an obligation to buy? So they know that they can, I'd actually say they prefer an option. An obligation to buy is a little bit of a risk because if he comes to the Premier League and he doesn't work out, then you're forced to pay a big fee. Whereas if you've got an option, it's up to you and you still have a clause there that you can exercise. But if Atletico Madrid were to say not have an option and just want the loan fee, which I would be surprised, then again, you're not getting anything out of it. You're just taking someone, progressing them, developing them for no reason. So they are asking for a lot. He has got a lot of potential. I think we saw at the World Cup little glimpses here and there again where you could see that there's a top potential player in there. He's still very young as well. I think he's 23 years old. But it is a gamble, and it is a bit of a gamble. So you have to see with Arteta and Arsenal, they've been very specific with their transfer targets over the last, year, 2 years, ever since really the Willian signing. And they've been very, very spot on. So if they are serious about Felix, we'll see in the next couple of weeks if they really go for him. Because I think when Arsenal want someone at this point, they go for them. And if they don't think that there's anybody that fits that description that they're looking for, then they would rather get nobody. And we saw that last January. So it'll be very interesting to see if they go for Felix because he is available. Manchester United probably don't have the cash. And I don't really see anybody else coming in at the moment. So Mudryk or Felix, I don't think it will be both, but we'll see which one it is. And in terms of confirmed deals to finalise, we've got Jack Butland going to Manchester United on loan from Crystal Palace. This came to a little bit of a shock for me. I'm not going to lie. I didn't really see this coming. I don't think anybody did. But unless you're maybe a Man United fan, you're maybe more including with what's going on with your goalkeeper situation. But he is going on loan there until the end of the season, seemingly, I'm sure, to back up David De Gea. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Mudryk, Felix, these are the big stories of the day as per usual. Obviously, Enzo Fernandez continues at Chelsea, but at the moment it's a standstill. There is no update on that situation. Chelsea still have to come back to the table after annoying Benfica and annoying Benfica's manager, of course, as well, with the whole debacle there. So we'll wait and see if that situation progresses. And of course, it's a long way to go in this window. So I'm sure it will start to heat up and we know teams will start to panic towards the end as they start to realize that, we need to save our seasons potentially. So we'll see you guys next time. Make sure you smash up the likes. Big up your damn selves. In a bit, people. Peace.